This is Mainstream Current, and I'm Drew Hoagland. And once again, I am gooped and gagged. But no, in all seriousness, this is alarming. I'm going to pull up here from the Maine Wire. Maine faces $949.2 million budget shortfall for 2026 into the 2027 fiscal year. Maine's budget officer has informed Governor Janet Mills that the state has a projected 2026 to 2027 shortfall of nearly $1 billion. I'm going to pull up the image that they have here of Janet Mills because it's so fitting. We had an excess of money from the COVID pandemic relief, but as soon as she leaves office, we are $1 billion in deficit. I met this woman one time. I mean, I didn't personally go up and shake her hand and exchange names or anything, but I saw her one time, and the lady has beady snake eyes. And this photo that I'm pulling up, that's just a perfect example in my mind of the kind of image that those beady snake eyes brought up. Zoom in so I can read closer. Okay. So this article by the Maine Wire, it is by Steve Robinson. It was written on October 2nd, 2024. The state of Maine is projected to face a massive shortfall of nearly $1 billion for fiscal years 2026 and 2027. The first 2 years after Governor Janet Mills, a Democrat, will leave office, according to Maine's budget officer. Talk about setting someone up for failure. In my mind, she already knows that Democrat's not going to become governor after her because of everything that has happened, while the Democrats have had a trifecta or a hat trick of control here in the state of Maine. Because I'm not being biased here. I'm just talking about the state of the economy, the state of the state of citizens' lives day to day has drastically degenerated in the years of Janet Mills. And so leaving a $1 billion deficit doesn't seem like a move you would do to other Democrats, unless you can then promote a Democrat that thinks they can easily hurdle that. So it seems like she's setting someone up for failure. No matter who it is, Democrat or Republican, she's setting them up for failure. The $949.2 million shortfall includes a $636.7 million projected deficit in the general fund and a highway fund gap of $312.5 million for the 2026 to 2027 biennium, according to a recent 4-year budget forecast report released by the Department of Administration and Financial Services, DAFS. That's not terrifying, is it? Truthfully, what are we doing? And then we're getting ready to vote about more spending in November, and we're getting these federal funds for the transmission lines, and where is this money coming from? Because it is you and I tax-paying citizens, but where is it coming from in the short term? Because it's not available currently. So they're setting us up for failure for years, for our children's children to fail. This is not forward thinking. If Maine was a family, this is not how the family would work. This is not how the family would operate. There would have to be some immediate and drastic changes in order to get things in line. And our so-called adults in charge are not doing it. They just don't cut it. It's by Daryl Stewart, the acting state budget officer. Maine's state constitution requires a balanced budget, but there has been no indication yet that the governor or any lawmakers as to how that might be achieved given the magnitude of the projected shortfall. And also, Mills isn't going to be in power then, and neither is her cabinet. So what do they care? Like, honestly, what do they care? They're just... It's like skiing downhill and you're ripping up first tracks because you know that's the only time you're going to go down, and you just don't care how you leave it for people behind you. Is there anything illegal with it? No. But is there something really, really scummy about it? Yeah. Can you do better? Yeah, most people do. Most families do. Most individuals do. But politicians? They are their own breed. Projected general fund shortfall. The general fund revenue for the 2026-2027 biennium is projected to total approximately $11.2 billion, while expenditures are expected to reach $11.67 billion. Okay, I'm sorry, $11.02 billion. And they're expected to reach $11.67 billion. This results in a projected shortfall of $636.7 million. The fund's revenue sources include a mix of taxes, transfers, and other revenue streams. I won't read through this, but I will pull up here expected revenues by source 2026 to 2027 biennium. So you can see sales and use tax, individual income tax, corporate income tax, cigarette and tobacco tax, insurance company tax, other taxes and fees, service provider tax, transfers, including lottery and tax relief. What the fuck? So many taxes. And I know we have taxes on all of those, but to see them all outright like that, and to think that our founding fathers in the Boston Tea Party rioted over 2% tax, how we have fallen. I'm alarmed. I'm like, this is my future. Like, this is our future that we're looking into. Is Janet Mills gonna actually be able to come up with the deficit for the 2 years after she leaves? No. Is she gonna be culpable at all? No. Is she probably gonna get into some government position after this? Fucking probably. Which is disgusting. You cannot treat your state like this. You cannot treat your neighbors, your community, the people you grew up with like this. How dare you, Governor Janet Mills? How dare you? And I will take back my scorn and I will publicly apologize to you if you can turn this around. But come November, you are trying to get us to spend more money. And we don't have it. We don't have it. And the money that we would have is being sent out of state and out of fucking country. How dare you? And you have more control than you're letting on. And the PUC, there's so much corruption. There is so much corruption. Politicians are not the answer. Average citizens with a voice that are willing to put themselves on the line, that are willing to stand up for themselves, their neighbors, their loved ones, their community, and are willing to put all on the line and then come back to it at the end. Because Governor Janet Mills and any other politicians in the state of Maine, you're going to have to move out of state when you get out of office. Angus King, you can't live here after you're done because no one will appreciate you. You will not be able to have neighbors. You will not be able to have communities. You will only be able to go to select areas because most of the people will despise you for what you have done to us. So when you're done serving us, I hope you find a comfortable place out of state. Because us Mainers are fed up with politicians, especially those from out of state that come here that try to regulate and rule and lawmake and then judge and then leave. No, that needs to stop. That needs to stop. And we are facing billions of dollars of deficit, because if this is what they're announcing, almost $1 billion of deficit in 2026 and 2027, God only knows how bad it actually is. Start researching this for yourselves, y'all. Like, I'm getting this out there. Don't just take my word for it. Look into this for yourself. Research it on your own. Pull up other sources that I'm not referring to. Get a rounded mindset and understanding and perspective of what's going on, because it's insidious. And if we don't get on top of it soon, there's not going to be coming back from it. I mean, already electricity is out of the state's hands. It's in the hands of shareholders from Qatar, BlackRock, Vanguard, Norway, Canada. Y'all, pray. I mean, honestly, we need to pray, because things are getting scary, and I don't want to believe that this is all that mankind is the best that can be. I do think there is a higher power. I think that there's something up there. I think there's something guiding our path. I'm on a journey to figure out what that means exactly, and I hope you're on your own journey, because truthfully, even those that believe in evolution believe in something. Even agnostics and atheistic, believe in something. Like, that is something that you believe in. So we all believe in something. And if you don't believe in anything, you're going to fall for everything. And that may sound cliche, but 2024 has been a year. And I hope that it hasn't been as bad for you as it has been for me and those around me, but coming through. And I think that's from someone above. I'm not trying to make this video preachy. That's just my thoughts. These are all just my opinions. If you don't like them, go ahead and swipe away. That is all on you. You weren't invited here anyway. Those that enjoy this, you were invited. And at this point, I hope you go ahead, like, share, comment, get this video out there, get more videos like this out there, even if it's not my content. Start subscribing and following other small, independent journalists, reporters, creators, whatever you want to call us. Start following more of this, because we're going to give you more truthful representation of the news and where we fall in perceiving the news than mainstream will be. And that's where my name, Mainstream Current, comes from. It's a play on words, because Maine, the state of Maine, mainstream, because it makes you think like mainstream media, but it's not mainstream, it's Mainstream Current. It's keeping you in the loop of what's going on in Maine, but it's also keeping you with the flow of what's actually going on. It's not sugar-coated, there is bias, as I've said many times. That's my own personal bias. We all have our own bias. I can't change that. If I'm going to change it, it's just going to change to a different bias. Just like you can't change your bias. It'll just be a different bias. So know where I'm coming from, but do your own research. And I enjoy doing these videos for you guys. Keep commenting, keep liking, keep doing all the things. I appreciate and love you all. Until next time, this is Drew Hoagland with Mainstream Current.
Ready, fight!